live Jesus in our hearts forever. Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Salle Exchange. LSX is a platform for the exchange of ideas and interactive conversations in education, especially at this time of transition. Our guest today leads 5 colleges and the graduate school in the higher education unit at the University of St. LaSalle. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, please welcome the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, Dr. Annabelle Balor. Hello, Dr. Bell.
Hello, Hector. Good morning.
Good morning. It's our pleasure to have you here in LSX, and you may want to greet our friends first before we start.
Yes, I'd like to greet everyone watching. Thank you. I'd like to say on behalf of the Higher Education Unit and the University Administration, Madamo gid nga salamat for the continued confidence and trust in the university education that we provide despite the pandemic.
Yeah, Doc Bell, we understand how busy you are, as we prepare for that's probably an understatement, but yeah, you're so busy as we prepare for the opening of the new school year in about a month's time, right? That's August 17.
August 17.
Yeah,
that's
so
right.
A month and a day. So thank you for your time by being with us today. Now, first of all, I want to ask personally, as Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, you have such a huge responsibility. How are you doing? I mean, how are you coping with this new situation that we're in? We're still in quarantine. I'm not sure what will happen with the next 15 days because I think they're changing the quarantine status again. We still don't know. How is the higher education unit? How are the faculty and staff doing? Given the flexibility required in the process of teaching and learning, the new normal. I could imagine the challenges. But on a very human level, we want to find out how is
I?
Yeah. Please, Doc, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Hector, for asking that. It's very rare that I get to be asked that question in the platform. Since the shutdown last March, I've been doing a lot of Zoom meetings, been asked to also share what we have been doing and how we are able to move forward, despite the disruptions.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to be asked that question because they say, I think the officer that's most stressed at this time, really, one of them, of course, the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, because that it's the call or the expectation to ensure that learning continues. And as you've mentioned, we're not just talking about one college, we're talking about 5 colleges
and the graduate school
and the College of Law and the College of Medicine.
Exactly. Yeah. Wow.
So, and our partners, really, I can see their concern every time they come, like for face-to-face meeting. That's also one question they get to ask: how are you?
Yeah.
Because they know the demand.
And it's not, and Doc, I don't think it's just the work at hand. No, I think it's also this whole mental process thing that's going on, because we're adjusting, we're shifting from a mode of delivery that's completely not completely new, but it's a different platform altogether. So the mental process of a leader.
Yeah. So when they ask me that question, usually I try to say that it's like you walking on that road that you used to know.
Yeah.
But
That's like a song.
but now a lot of things have changed, and really, the essence of the pandemic is really uncertainty, right? So it's like walking on that road that you used to know, but it's foggy and it's dark, and in the pre-COVID, parang there. Of course, we don't have control over a lot of things, but we seem to be in control of some things because there are a lot of things that are familiar. But now it's not. A lot of things have changed. And
are you still getting any? Are you still getting any sleep? Because
of course, I do.
Yeah, yeah.
That's one thing that I really try to guard. Really
Okay.
try to guard because it's very important to take care of our wellness. No, so yeah, I this is what I really say, and I mean it from my heart. And one thing I think is a gift. The gift that we have as Lasallians is the gift of faith,
Yeah.
right? So it's really choosing to uh, be still and be in that place with someone who alone knows alone knows the way, and knows everything. If there's one thing I think that we have learned in this pandemic is that we don't have control over
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anytime things can change.
Yeah, it
So
could. It was March, I think it was March 16,
that's right. That's like
right? Yeah,
today's
right.
July
So
16th.
March, April, May, June.
May, June,
4 months.
July.
4 months ago on exactly this, you're right. On exactly the same day, 4 months ago, everything changed. Just like that.
That's right. Exactly.
Wow. Wow.
100, at least 120 days after.
Wow. And then
And
in a month's time, we're opening school.
that's right. And here we are. You're still smiling. I'm still smiling. And it's going back to my answer. It's really God who has held us really faithfully.
I
And
think so
so,
too. I
yeah.
think so too. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So anyway, doctor, let's continue. Let's get the
All
show on the
right.
road. My first question is this, no. Uh let's talk about reimagined learning delivery and redesigned learning environment.
Mm,
The
mm,
founder, we know this, no, the founder, John Baptist de La Salle and the First Brothers,
mm,
renewed the school of their time by
mm,
exactly doing what we're doing, reimagining and redesigning education that was innovative and responsive to the needs of the
mm,
children, no, and the children of the artisans and the working
mm,
class in 17th century France. Now, in
mm,
our context today in the Philippines, 21st century, and given the realities of the new normal, you
mm.
can answer this in one sweeping answer. No? How is higher education? How is the HEU? How did
Doing?
we reimagine? No,
Oh.
because yeah, I think I'm just, I'm just trying to reimagine how you went through the process of reimagining and redesigning the learning environment and the delivery process. No, how did we do? How did you? What was the? How did you do it? What was the process of reimagining? What were the
Mm,
preparations or the steps that
mm,
you and your entire team
mm,
took, no, to prepare for this redesign? No, and then I'm sure there were other reactions, there were responses, there were
mm,
suggestions, there were objections.
mm.
How did the HEU under your leadership deal with all of this?
Wow, that's a beautiful question, and you're right. We've been doing reimagining exercises or reimagination for the last 120 days, and
Yeah.
as I've said earlier, the essence of the pandemic is really uncertainty. So we have decided early, in the pandemic, that we will make flexibility a lifestyle. So
Mm.
since the shutdown last March 16, basically I've been very grateful, no, for the gift of very committed and very hardworking members of the HEU Leadership Council. And these are the council is composed of the deans, the undergraduate deans. And then the dean of the graduate school, medicine, and law, and also our academic support unit. So since I think since the shutdown, we have been we have been very busy communicating with each other, almost every day through the FB Messenger chat room. So I think you're aware as well that last May, we
Mhm.
were able to continue. We were able to hold our summer, okay, our summer 2020 classes
Yes, yes,
with
yes, yeah, yeah,
without
yeah.
without having been able to meet here on campus and face to face. We basically planned for everything
Was it
remote.
difficult? Was that difficult? I
Oh,
mean, you had to start it, right? Because there was no way
mm,
we could stop the summer term. So we just had
yeah,
to dive into it and
correct.
how did
Because we have
we
to finish because we have
right,
to finish the academic year 1920, and it's not complete without the summer term. And if you
correct.
recall, there wasn't the first it was an ECQ, and we were hoping that the ECQ would be lifted so we can at least meet, no, and have that period before the summer term opens. But then there was an order and they extended the ECQ.
Correct. So yeah, all the more that we could not get out of our home.
Exactly. So we said, okay, we have to embrace this. This is, I think, the new normal, or shall we say, the interim new normal. So we carried the planning process, preparation, not just with the council, but with the 56 faculty members who are due to teach in the summer. So imagine. Meeting with the HU Leadership Council members, academic support unit heads who are in charge of making sure enrollment for the summer term runs smoothly. And we have never done fully remote and online summer enrollment ever since. That was the first time. Yeah. So I'm really, really grateful to our academic support unit heads. And then side by side is the training of our
faculty
members.
Right.
This was done via Zoom, right? Via Zoom. And we're grateful that we were able to have Canvas now as our learning management, as our platform, learning management system. So just imagine moving from one Zoom meeting to another, right? So in the beginning, first 2 weeks, it was like, ooh, is this really happening? This is the new normal. So as a leader, I realized to those who are also listening, I think that's one thing we can learn. The sooner we can accept it, right? Accept it, and then and then go ahead with planning, because really we cannot wait until this COVID-19 is over. We don't know really.
So, Doctor, I think based on what you're saying, the first step in the reimagining process, in the redesigning process, was acceptance. You have to accept the new context that we're in. Exactly. And then from there, with what you said, from there, start making immediate adjustments.
Yes.
So there was really no time for you to be paralyzed by how do they call it? Analysis by paralysis by analysis. There was no time.
You have to avoid that.
Yeah.
That's one of the extremes you have to avoid.
Right. So but you had no time to even because you had to act immediately.
Yeah, and there's a greater responsibility on your shoulder.
Was it difficult for there's the administration, and then you have the faculty. Was it difficult for the administration with your team, with your administrative team, with the deans, to adjust in this new normal? I mean, because considering, we have to be realistic, Dr. Bella, all of us are not millennials, where we were not born with technology. So we're all of us in our age, in our gen, we're learning, right? So when we had to shift the following day, March 17, we had to shift. Was it difficult, and was the adjustment difficult for your team and for the faculty?
First, for the administrators, yes, we acknowledge there were challenges because most of our transactions, most of our operations were really done face to face. And if you ask me, I would rather talk to a colleague face to face. And really, I cannot imagine facing the tube or facing the monitor
like this. Yeah.
But I had to accept, right? So that's one. And then as far as the faculty members, I believe so. They must have had difficulty, because we could see that in the Zoom meetings. Some we could see that.
There's a chat on the side that says, I can't connect, or there's something wrong with my.
Right. And you're talking to them, asking them, and said, please, unmute yourself. We can talk to us. But not too many talk back. Right. Yeah. So I think it's very important to acknowledge that what they're feeling is normal, because we've also been through that.
And that's part of the things that we have to consider in redesigning the learning environment.
Exactly. Right. So I think I also have to mention at this point, reimagining what kind of mode of learning delivery will now be appropriate.
Yeah.
Right. Given that our priority is really safety, health, and
Yes.
well-being of our students and the faculty. Um, in as much as we want face-to-face, because really the truth of the matter is that
Correct.
if you only have a choice, heck, I don't think, like I myself, I would not go really for remote and online learning, no face-to-face. But really, we do not have a choice.
Right.
We have to make sure that everybody entrusted to our care, they are safe. So we're grateful that the CHED, Commission on Higher Education, has come up with flexible learning options. And flexible learning options, contrary to what most think, is not just online education. It's not just
Mm.
online learning. It's actually it is composed of two features. One is distance education, and the other one is online education. And going back to what you're saying, I think Lasallian institutions or Lasallian education is really known for being inclusive, really known for ensuring that no student is left behind. And I
Right.
think that's one of the things that our founder has been really reiterating in his accompaniment of his teachers in his time. He would do
Mm.
this through his writings, and
Yeah.
he really made sure that the teachers get it, to ensure that every student is reached and no student is left behind. So with the flexible learning options, those students who may belong to the category where they do not have internet access,
Yeah.
or they do
Yeah.
not have computers,
Yeah.
and those learners who may have intermittent access to internet, uh, but don't have computers, and those learners who have intermittent access to internet but have computers, and those with high robust internet access. So
Right.
these three categories, so flexible learning option really has it's like inclusive, right? So those considered as no tech, low tech, we use distance education for them, right?
Mm.
And for those that belong to the high tech or robust with robust connectivity, we use online education. So that's why we're very confident that we can
Now
continue
that
learning.
now that you mentioned that, Doctor, it's very interesting because in your memo, in one of the
Mm,
communications released by your office, there were
mm,
two core principles that were cited, right? And
mm,
maybe that's the context of the next question.
mm,
Um, and you also mentioned it earlier that our primary concern right now is really health and safety.
mm.
I'm sure in the
Correct.
time of the founder and with what you're sharing, I'm sure in the time of the founder, when he was trying to figure out how to run the beginnings of Lasallian education, he must have thought of some kind of flexible arrangement with the students, because in the same way that we are considering now that there are students with high connectivity, low connectivity,
Mm,
I'm sure in this time it was not connectivity, but it was something else, right? It was something
yeah.
else, and he had to be flexible also
Mm,
during his
that's
time.
right.
Now, having said that, and having mentioned the two core principles that your communication has also stated, in the conduct of the Christian schools, um,
Mm,
Dr. Bell, the founder also wrote the necessary guidelines,
mm,
pedagogical and administrative to run his school, to run the LaSalle schools, to ensure the
mm,
welfare of the community as they
mm,
start as the founder and the first brother started the mission.
mm,
Now, um, in consideration for health and security, what are the concrete actions and the concrete
mm,
measures that we're taking in the HEU
mm, mhm,
in order to ensure that our
mhm,
students, our faculty, our staff, our administration are all safe,
mm,
and also to
mm,
assure the parents that
mm,
that's health and safety is of primary concern. What are the measures that we've taken to ensure that?
mm.
And then
Yes.
are there any like guideline in the app?
Mhm.
In the first semester, I think we communicated that
Yeah.
there won't be any face-to-face classes
Mm,
in view of
yes,
health.
yes,
Now, are there any other guidelines or procedures advised by the HEU on health
yes.
and safety health and safety, so that everybody knows that what is LaSalle doing to ensure the health and safety of
Mhm.
everybody in the community? Doctor.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for asking that, Heck. And I'd like to say that I think when the visa announcement came out last June 2, we've received very positive feedback from our students and stakeholders, because I think because they saw that even in that announcement, in that letter, that LaSalle really put emphasis, no, on health and safety of the students whom they will entrust to our care, and the fact that we can continue learning without face-to-face interaction. So without residential learning or in classroom on campus transactions. So I think if you ask me, that's one of the major major responses in line with ensuring health and safety is prioritized. So we've been actually working closely with the university administration to ensure that this is not compromised, and it is the first principle that drove our decision basically to open, okay, our academic year now on August 17. So there will be no face-to-face classes, you're right, in the first semester, because we don't want to be the cause of the reemergence, no, or cause of local transmission. So if we can continue learning without asking students to be in the classroom, then we might as well do that, because really the truth of the matter is, as long as there's no vaccine, it's
Yeah,
not safe.
correct. Now, doctor, in our experience during the summer term, did we have any data, or did we have any observation on
Mm.
how the students reacted, or how the students accepted this new form of learning? Did we, because there was no
Mm.
face to face in the summer term,
Mm.
so
Yes.
was learning possible? Maybe that's a
Did
very, did it
I did
happen?
did
Yeah,
that's the right that's a better way of putting it. Did learning happen?
right, right. Did
Yeah.
learning happen in the summer? I mean,
Yeah. I can say I think I can confidently say yes, but I can't say 100%.
yeah, of
Hundred
course, of
percent
course.
yes. I mean, true to all, because really I can say this, Heck, because one of the things we made sure mechanism present is the getting students feedback. So every week we did conduct a survey using Google Forms. So we would ask questions if how the students find their summer learning experience, and are they learning, are the learning experiences able to help them, are the teachers able to coach them and facilitate that they succeed in the attainment of the learning outcome. So based on the survey, we had like 70%, close to
And then
70%, who said that
that's
yes.
high. That's high. That's really
Yeah.
good.
and
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 then
30% are saying that can admin please look into this to ensure that this is improved. So week in and week out, we work on this feedback. So we have what we call Wednesday meetups, where the VCA, the AVCA, and the deans meet with all the 56 faculty every Wednesday at 4 p.m. And then we share with them now the result of the students' feedback.
and
And
that's
then
real time, right? That's real
oh
time feedback.
yes, that's
Wow.
real time via Zoom. So every week we're really working on.
So that means that during the summer term, we were able to adjust
Mm,
instruction and delivery in real time
exactly.
because of real time feedback.
That's right.
And
That's
it's the
right.
same model, that's the same learning model that we're using now
In
in
the
the
first
first sem.
semester.
So
That's right.
that was a good warm up, no?
It's like a dry run.
Right, right, right.
It's basically an experiment. No, that's why we're very confident. If you can say more than 100% confident that we can do this. And you are right. We'll take that 6-week experience and
Mhm.
then, do it in the stretch of 18 weeks, the first
Right.
semester.
Now, doctor, I'm sure when you say it's an experiment, we did not experiment like in the summer. We did not experiment like we did not know, right? I'm sure we benchmarked,
Mm,
we had resources, we were
yes.
prepared for the summer term, right? It was not like
Yes, we were.
okay.
That's not the kind of experiment
Right,
I'm
right.
talking about.
Just to qualify, just to qualify. Also for the sake of the parents, that when we would say we experimented, it was based on existing distance learning or online learning pedagogy.
Mm-mm. Yeah,
Okay,
exactly. And we had data, and we
and we had
made
data.
sure that, and we made sure that their children, the students, are involved. We listen to their feedback, and then we work on their feedback.
That's very interactive. I think what we did when we solicited feedback from the students on Google Forms about their education during the summer, I think that's a very interactive move for us, so that we're able to respond to them. Which leads me to my next question, Doctor.
Yes.
The first core principle was health and safety. The second core principle is that you mentioned in your letter was education that is responsive, right? And you mentioned in general terms earlier the three categories of maybe connectivity of our students. No, now in the meditations of the founder, I think the book was called "The Meditations at the Time of Retreat." The founder emphasized how the brothers and the educators must be able to provide individual attention to the needs of their students, and that we as educators must act like guardian angels to the students entrusted to our care. Now, and HEU is adapting a flexible and remote
learning options.
That's very considerate of connectivity realities of our learners and their parents. No, so we'd like to, can you give us can you describe to us you've already did earlier, but maybe just to expound on it more, the categories of connectivity that we have set up to respond to the needs of our learners.
Thank you, Hack. Yeah, I'd like to say first, before I go into the details of describing what I was sharing broadly earlier about the different categories of learners, is that USLS understands and really wants to help learners continue to learn. And we have been mindful of their unique realities. And why do I say this? Because we did conduct a survey again using Google Forms, because for us to be able to implement flexible learning, we have to be able to find out from among our learners who belong to category 1, category 2, and category 3, so that the teacher can actually use the right flexible learning option for them. Okay, so as I said earlier, driven by the core principle of education that is responsive. So we will adopt flexible remote learning strategy because it is considerate of the connectivity realities of our learners who may belong to any of the following categories. So I'd like to credit the Commission on Higher Education for this. And I think we haven't defined flexible learning yet. Flexible learning really is a strategy that understands and helps learners to learn in the time of COVID and mindful of their realities. So category 1, for those who may be asking, category 1 basically describes learners who are without connectivity. When you say without connectivity, those who do not have internet access, no mobile devices, and no laptop or desktop computer at home. And heck, when we did a survey among our continuing students, for those who responded, I think as of June 23, we found out 1.9% of our students belong to category 1. Okay, but the fact, Hector, that they were able to participate in the survey, that means they have access to like a smartphone that enables them to access an FB Messenger. Because we sent the Google survey to the FB Messenger.
Yeah, otherwise they could not have received the information. Yeah.
Yes, and this is one of the things that gave us confidence that, let's say, we will not be able to, let's say anytime the government will declare like an ECQ, so we will not be able to really come here on campus. So we cannot print the materials that's supposed to be for category 1 students. So all we need to do is just convert the course guides to a PDF copy and send this via FB Messenger.
Right.
That's what we did in the summer. Okay, and then now let me move to category 2. Originally, CHED had category 2, referring to students with limited connectivity, with access to a mobile device, but we were not so clear as to whether they have a computer or whether they don't have a computer at home. So we further subdivided this to 2A and 2B.
Right.
Yes, 2A really is a group of students with limited connectivity, limited internet access, but have at least a mobile device, but has no laptop or desktop computer at home. So what does this mean? So when a student in category 2A receives a PDF copy of the course guide, the teacher, knowing that he or she has a category 2A student, will not demand that the student accomplishes the learning requirement using computers, right? So the student can actually write
reply by text.
Or can use yellow pad or bond paper to write the answers, no, to the course guide requirement. And then you have category 2B. Okay, so with limited connectivity, limited access still, but has a mobile device, but this time has a laptop. So then the student can work on the learning requirement using a computer, and then can convert this probably to PDF copy and then send via FB Messenger. Right.
Right.
So
Right. Now, doctor, question: What happens to the category A? Let's say if I wrote it down on a piece of paper, let's say yellow pad. Do I
take a picture of your answer?
That's what I'm saying. Take a picture. Yeah.
Thank you for asking that.
No, because I think, do I send it by mail? Because that's going to defeat the purpose. So I take a picture and I send it.
I send it via FB Messenger chat.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
And
got it.
The last category is category 3. This how we wish everybody's on category 3.
But really yeah, with connectivity.
Based on survey, our category 3 students, I think it's like over 20%. Right? So I forgot to mention those who belong to category 2 is 70%. Close
70.
to 70. Yes.
So that's 70. The bulk. That's the bulk of
Exactly. That's why you cannot just outrightly say, we will use online learning all throughout. Then we will be able to displace the 70% and the 1.9% who belong to the no tech or category 1. So category 3, really those with stable internet access, with mobile device, and with access to laptop or desktop computer. And our students really can shift to can jump or can shift to category 3 if they are in the campus, because the university has computers available for them, and it has Wi-Fi, enough bandwidth for them to be able to use. So later in the second semester, if face-to-face is already possible, depending on the public health data and depending on the directive of the local government unit, then students can actually come to the campus, but it's not going to be the same as pre-COVID teaching learning approach and environment where let's say MWF students are in the classroom. We're not gonna go back to that anymore. So we have students meeting in class only once a week in a maximum of 1 hour, and the rest of the time they're in the campus, probably in the learning forum, in the library, and working on the course guide that the teacher prepared.
That's kind of exciting the way you describe it. In the future, that's exciting. I go to school, but I don't necessarily stay in the classroom, but I learn. I still learn.
Yes. We just have to we have to make sure, and the teachers are committed to making sure that even if they're able to have face-to-face interaction engagement with the student, that when they prepare the course guide, the students can feel their presence.
The presence.
By the way of, in the preparation of the course guide.
Okay, Dr. Bell, our next question would be the mode of learning delivery. Moving forward, and just to add excitement to the new ways of learning, can you please give us a picture of how the school year would look like, or how the school year will be like relative to flexible and blended learning? Because we said that, the first semester, there might be no students on campus. Second semester, we still don't know. It depends on how things will go in the future. So I'm probably curious, and also for the benefit of the parents, how would the school year look like in this new mode of learning?
Yeah, that's an excellent question, Heck. The academic year 2021, which starts basically in August 17 with the reimagined learning delivery, and redesign learning environment and steered by two core principles of health and safety and education that is responsive will really be conducted using an inclusive strategy, which the Commission on Higher Education has now made a matter of national policy, and that's called flexible learning options. It's basically a mode of delivering learning that understands that not all learners have access to internet and to a computer at home in the period of COVID-19. And you're right, we really don't know when it's going to end. So we just have to be very flexible. So a parent or students may possibly ask, will there be face-to-face classes in the first semester? That's August all the way to December 2020. The answer is no.
Okay, no face-to-face classes for the first sem.
First semester, that's all right. August all the way to December. The answer is no, because as long as it is not yet safe to hold old normal residential classes, there will be no face-to-face in classroom interactions. All right. And the university will be facilitating remotely learning using distance education for students who belong to the no tech, low tech, or category 1, category 2 students, and online education for those who belong to the high tech group or category 3.
Category 3. Right. Yes. So for category 1 and category 2, the delivery of instruction will be different compared to those with connectivity.
Thanks for asking that. I think I need to explain that.
Yeah.
Distance education option of the flexible learning strategy will be used for category 1 and 2. Okay, so this will be employed by the teachers for those with limited access and for those without access to internet and computers, since the realities will not allow them to participate in online education learning. So print-based or offline digital course guides and instructional materials will be provided to the students in this category for self-directed learning. And this will be supplemented, with weekly consultations or remote interactions, initiated by the faculty using familiar applications. Say familiar because these are applications that our students are usually using. Example, texting, calling, and messaging through applications like WhatsApp, Viber, and the very commonly used FB Messenger.
Facebook, yeah. So it's not just one platform. It's not just Canvas. It's not exclusive. Whatever tools are available can be used.
That's right, because learning must continue and must not be hindered because of, a lack of access to internet and computer.
That's where inclusion comes in. Huh?
Perfect. Yes, that's right. And then for category 3 learners, or those with stable internet access, mobile devices, and have computer at home, they will be taught using still flexible learning option, but this time the online education option of flexible learning. And the teacher will really replicate the face-to-face classes in the learning management system, or what we call Canvas. But as I have stressed earlier, we do not encourage having face-to-face classes more than once a week, so that the students will have time to work on the well-prepared course guides by the teachers. And you might ask, what about the second semester? Will there be face-to-face classes from January to May 2021? Okay, so take note, our second semester will start in January and all the way to May 2021. And I would like to say that our decision by then will always be informed by the public health data due to our commitment to safety. So in the second semester, we will, or heck, I like to say we may, we will or we may.
Consider.
We plan to shift from flexible remote teaching learning options now to blended learning. Again, depending on the public health data and the LGU directive, depending on the executive order by then. So in the blended teaching and learning mode, the face-to-face aspects, the face-to-face aspects and the online aspects of online learning will be combined.
That's why it's called blended.
blended. Yes.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
and face-to-face, as I've said, will be used only once a week for academic consultation, feedbacking, coaching for success, and scaled down examinations and submission of course requirements. And that's going to be done in the classroom, but we will make sure, again, commitment to safety, there will only be 20 students in the classroom. Okay,
Wow.
for every session, right? So this is once a week. Example, if in a class of 40 or 45, okay, let's say they meet at 8:30 to 9:30. So on a Monday, the teacher meets half of the class, 2022, okay, and then that's the coaching for success, feedbacking, consultation. And then on Wednesday, the same teacher meets the second
The
half of
second
the
half of the
class.
class.
Yes. And the rest, just the rest of the time, they will just have to work on their course guide.
So in fact, for the teacher, Dr. Bell, for the teacher, that's
yes,
more manageable with 20 students at any given time.
yes, because again, commitment to health and safety.
Yeah.
We want to be able to practice social distancing in the class, and
Yeah.
it's hard to do that when you have 45 in one
Right.
classroom.
Right.
So
And then also the platform has changed. Eh. So, you know,
exactly.
when we can do 45 live face to face, now the playing field has changed.
In the second semester.
In the second
Okay? So
semester, yeah.
that's what we mean by phasing in the face-to-face minimally, and we'll be very, very mindful to ensure that we can still practice social distancing. Okay?
So I think that's very safe to say that in the higher education unit, we've already planned this out. We're ready, right? We're ready
right,
for
we are.
in fact, we're ready. We were ready during the summer. We're ready
Uh-huh.
for the first semester, and we're
Yes.
ready for the second semester. Now,
We're ready for the second semester. Yes, and
right.
regardless of the public health status, it may be, and the status of the city. Then, like if it's now it's MGCQ.
Right.
If it's going to be back to ECQ, we will still be ready, okay? Because we have actually done that in the summer.
Wow. So I think that gives a lot of hope to students and to teachers, because I'm sure by now the anxiety level of students and parents around what happens to my child when my son and daughter goes to school.
Yeah.
What kind of delivery? How is this going to be done? Oh, by the way, Doc, I just asked around computers. They're all sold out in
Oh.
Bacolod. Yeah. So, no, what I'm saying is that because of our readiness, it will ease the anxiety of
Mm,
some of the members of the community,
mm.
right, about how prepared LaSalle is to welcome this new situation.
Correct. Yes. And heck, I'd like to emphasize here, and also as an assurance to the parents. Now, we assure them that although learning will be happening remotely or
Yeah.
without face to face, and or online for most of the time, because of our commitment to the safety and health and well-being of their children, USLS will remain faithful to its Lasallian educational philosophy, and that is, we commit to provide Lasallian educational experiences that ensure differentiation, upholding the principle of inclusion, equity, and access to the learning experiences, regardless of whether you have connectivity, you have access to internet, or you have or don't have computer at home, because that's what our founder really has really emphasized now, and that we have to make sure we provide learning no matter the circumstance. That learning experience must be fraternal, caring, and respectful.
Wow, thank you very much, Doc Bell. That was very enlightening. I mean, this whole conversation has really clarified many things that I hope
Mm.
that it assures the parents and assures the
Mm.
students that, come to LaSalle because we're just ready for the new normal, in
Yes.
our educational programming. Anyway, Dr. Bell, we're running out of time. We'd like to thank
Mm.
you for your time. We know how busy you are, as I said earlier. Uh, so as we close, I'd like to give you this time to be able to invite again parents and students and
Mm.
and members of the community. And if there are any questions or if there are any inquiries, if there are any concerns, how can they reach us? The
Okay.
HEU.
Thank you very much. On behalf of our university administration, headed by our brother president and chancellor, I'd like to take this opportunity now to thank our students parents, and those invested in our students' education, for your continued trust in the university education that USLS provides even during the pandemic. I'd like to also let you know that the trust has been translated into actual applications. Heck, as at this, to date, we have received over 2,000 applications already for freshman admission.
Oh.
And yes, and our original target was 2,200. So that's like, if you do your math.
Yeah, it's only like 200.
200. So please, please come now.
We're still open. We're still open.
We're still open. Yes, enrollment is until July 24, right? So, and we have 1,037 actual enrollment already. Okay. So we assure you, this is what I want to say, we assure you that although, as I've said, learning will be happening remotely, but we will make sure that your children's education will really be closely assisted, and the teachers will really help them succeed in their educational goals. And well, we are in the new normal. No one is expert in the new normal. That's why it's called new. We cannot promise that it will be perfect all the time, heck, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
One thing for certain, USLS will commit to continuous improvement, and we do that by regularly asking our students for feedback on their learning experiences, and we shall endeavor to work on this feedback. It is our aim that our students, whom we really call as future Lasallian professionals, will work with us in giving us honest feedback, so that we will know how to be able to help them and improve their learning experience. But at this point, I'd like to make a request to our parents and the guardians of our students to really channel their concerns to the right body. In their case, it would be the department chair or the dean for any academic related concerns, but not to go to the social media, because that's not where they're going to find the answers. So I'd like to again inform our students and our parents, if you have any concerns, please do visit our university website and our official social media platform, our Facebook. And also, the students would know by now that the department chairs and the deans have created the chat rooms, respective chat rooms, with the students, so that whenever they have concerns about enrollment or anything to do with academics, and even sometimes beyond academics, they can actually, communicate with their department chairs and their dean, and they'll be more than glad, to assist them. So once again, thank you very, very much for the trust and for partnering with us in the fulfillment of your children's career goals. So stay safe. I'm really looking forward to meeting you in person soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time, Dr. Bell. Thank you. And to all our friends who joined us here in the LaSalle Exchange. Well, we hope that you enjoyed the time with Dr. Bell. In our next LaSalle Exchange, we will feature another guest from the community to share and explain to you what's been going on at the University of St. LaSalle. Thank you again, Dr. Bell.
Yes, you're welcome, Mac. Thank you. I enjoyed the whole time.
Thank you, everyone. For more updates, subscribe and follow us on our social media accounts. St. John Baptist de La Salle, pray for us. Live Jesus in our hearts forever. Thank you.
Thank you too. Bye.